Hey YouTube, Swiss Topper here, and today I'm going to rip Canby's little straw man to pieces. So let's get started with a quick recap.
Well, Darwinists use this same word, evolution, for both concepts, and thereby instill in the public imagination that they are identical processes.
That's because they are. Alrighty, let's see if I can explain this to you. Evolution simply means change over time. Let me see if I can explain it using the analogy of walking. The term walking basically means movement over time.
Now, if I walk to my car, that's walking.
Ooh, why would you destroy a perfectly good car with an ugly little emblem like that? You should get the one that I've got on my car. It shows a Christian fish eating a Darwin fish.
Good one, yeah, let's see it.
And if I walk to the top of a mountain, I'm still walking. It just took a lot longer.
It's the same thing with evolution. If an organism changes a little bit over a small amount of time, that's evolution. If an organism changes a lot over a long period of time, that's evolution. Evolution is change over time. Why is that concept so hard for creationists to understand?
Okay, here's where your analogy really goes awry, because you're equating random evolution with walking, and then you go on to equate evolving up in complexity, like from a single-celled organism to a human. You equate that to just simply walking up a mountain.
No, I did not say that, you disingenuous little turd, which, by the way, is not an ad hominem, it is an insult. Learn the difference. Now, as I've tried to explain to you in the past, evolution is change over time. It is not exclusively an increase in complexity over time, which is what you're trying to make out. Now, an increase in complexity can happen, and I've showed you as much in my previous video, which, by the way, I'm still waiting for a response. But it's not exclusively an increase in complexity over time. It's change over time. And that's what my analogy was trying to show you. The more time you have, the greater change you can have. Small time, small change. Long time, we're talking millions of generations, you get much greater change. Change over time, not complexity over time. If you learn nothing else from this video, please try to get that one fact into your deluded little mind.
The problem here is that when a person walks up a mountain, that person is overcoming the difficulty of walking up that mountain intentionally, by design, using a designed process of walking, which is by no means simple and, more importantly, by no means accidental. The reason that analogy doesn't work for evolution is because evolution is a natural, unintelligent, and unguided process.
Unguided? Have you never heard of natural selection? You know, for someone who claims to have studied evolution, you really don't know what you're talking about, do you?
It's a process driven by mutations which, according to the theory, are happening at random for no reason.
According to the theory? Sorry, but do you now doubt that mutations happen at random? Or do you doubt that they happen at all? Do I need to prove to you that mutations are real and random? I mean, I'm going to need some sort of gauge here just to know how deluded and ignorant you really are. Oh, you know what, screw it. Let's just take your moronicy and run with it.
So, let me think of a better analogy. Random mutations are not like walking, but they're kind of like stumbling or falling. Now, you can stumble and fall in all sorts of directions, no problem. But when you have the idea that you're going to stumble and fall up a mountain, then you do have a problem. Because while you might accidentally stumble a few little steps up the mountain, you are really not going to be expected to stumble over and over and over up a mountain. You can stumble down a mountain, but you're not going to accidentally stumble up a mountain.
Yeah, because that would require some sort of selection event, which selects naturally for those select stumbles which provide an obvious natural benefit, such as gaining height up a mountain. But what can we call these selection events that are natural in nature? Selective naturism? Naturalistical selectitude? I know, I'll call it natural erection. Also, this natural erection can anti-select for unbenefits, such as overstumblification.
Now wait, you might say, okay, if you can stumble a little bit up the mountain, then why can't you stumble a little bit up the mountain over and over and over till you get to the top? Well, that's a good question. The reason is, and it has a lot to do with the paper we've just been talking about by Kimura. He showed that most mutations are not beneficial. Most mutations are deleterious. So, while you're stumbling around a little bit up the mountain, for every time you stumble up the mountain, you're also falling back down a lot more than you stumbled up. So that's the reason you can't stumble up a mountain.
Now, in case my parody was just a little too complicated for you, let me spell it out to you again in simple terms. Natural selection amplifies those rare beneficial mutations while removing the more common deleterious ones. Amplification of the good, removal of the bad. That's natural selection. But I guess expecting you to grasp two new concepts in one video is probably just a little bit too much for you. And you know what? This video is not actually an attempt to educate you. No, because you have proven time and time again that you have absolutely no interest in learning the truth about evolution. You've already made up your mind. You've already got your fairy tales, and no amount of scientific evidence is going to change your mind, is it? So why am I making this video and the videos to come? Wow, isn't it obvious? It's just so much fun making you look like an idiot.
Oh, right, it's that whole the Earth is only a few thousand years old thing.
You're off by a factor of 2 here. Young Earth creationists say that the Earth is in the vicinity of 6,000, not 3,000 years old.
You know, I actually said a few thousand years. Here, listen for yourself.
Oh, right, it's that whole the Earth is only a few thousand years old thing.
But I do like the fact that you felt it was absolutely necessary to correct me and point out that your belief is that the world is 6,000 years old, give or take. Now, just out of morbid curiosity, do you have any scientific evidence to back that up? Any at all? You know, I would love to see that. If you could put together a video showing the scientific evidence proving that the world is 6,000 years, I would be grateful. And while you're at it, I'm still waiting for, as you put it, the very real limitations on natural selection. So if you get onto those videos, that would be great. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more, and Swiss Topper out.